Today we're going to be checking out the most expensive guitar in the shop. But you'll have to wait. Hi, Sam from Guitar Village here and welcome to a very special episode. As you can probably see already, we have moved into a brand new studio. We've been kicked out of the lovely vintage room and sent down into the cellar. As it is a special occasion, I thought let's do a vault episode and check out our most expensive guitar. Come with me. Welcome back to the vault. We've had some really cool new additions in here, and the first guitar I want to show you is this. It's a 1955 Gibson Les Paul Junior. What a lot of people don't know about the early Les Paul Juniors is that quite a few of them were made with maple bodies. This one though does have a traditional mahogany body. Another guitar we've just finished setting up and getting ready is this, a 1956 ES175. You'll notice it's only got one P90 pickup, unlike the modern ES175s, which are equipped with two humbucking pickups. The guitar I'm most excited to talk about today though, and probably one of the most expensive guitars in the shop right now, is this 1956 Fender Strat. We sold this guitar quite a few years ago, and the last owner had it for some time. He's a massive Tom Petty fan and he looked after it really well. Unfortunately, he decided that we could have the guitar back. So let's go check it out. The year's 1956, and this was Elvis's breakout year. During that time, he released 17 songs that made it into the top 100 charts, 3 of those making it to #1. You could see him on TV, he was performing live, making records, he was even in movies as well. That gives you a bit of perspective for that year, and now let's check out a guitar from then. This 1956 Strat is from the early part of that year, meaning it's going to have an ash body, which you can see a slight amount of grain through the front there, but when you flip it over and check out the back, you can see lots more typical ash grain. Later in that year, they started to phase this out and replace them with alder bodies, making this a slightly rarer guitar. The neck is a V profile. It has lots of flame on the back of it and a little bit of flame on the front of the headstock. It's benefited from having a refret with jumbo frets, and also a new bow nut as well, so the guitar is very playable. Something you can't see on the video is underneath the pickguard, where it's been serviced over the years, the technician actually put their name and dated it as well. There's been a few little changes to the electrics. I believe the pickups are all original from '56, however I believe it's had a new volume pot fitted. What I noticed straight away when I picked this guitar up is how light it is. You can see lots of original lacquer checking on the finish, and you can see lots of arm wear and things like that on the front and the back of the guitar. Now for comparison, we have a custom shop 56 super heavy relic. And this is probably about as close as we're going to get to an original example. This one does have an alder body, so it is a little bit different. And something I noticed as soon as I picked this up is that the guitar is actually quite a bit heavier as well. It's also got jumbo fret wire on there, and it's got what they call fret ghosting, which means they make either side of the frets all grubby and dark to make it simulate and look like it's had years of playing. As you can see with this, it's got a much heavier relic finish than we were seeing on the original guitar, and I think that looks absolutely killer. You can see it continues on the back, and what we noticed on the original example is that it did have some kind of worn through parts where it got a little bit darker, whereas on this they just sand the whole of the back and make the whole thing grubby, which makes it feel incredible to play. Something you do get with this, which you don't get on the originals, is a 5-way switch, which is quite useful if you want to use those in-between positions, something that the original Strats didn't have with their 3-way switch. Let's have a listen to each one. So we've talked a little bit about each of these guitars, we've heard each one. Let's do a bit of a wrap-up comparison on them. When I first picked up the Custom Shop Strat, the first thing I noticed was it was a bit heavier than the original example. The neck's also a little bit chunkier as well. Being a brand new guitar, it also felt very modern. I think it definitely nails that vintage look, but I think in terms of feeling like a vintage guitar, you can't really beat the real deal. Something that you can't really beat as well, once you start looking into the original parts on the guitar, when you start looking at the lacquer checking and the armware, it's so difficult to accurately recreate that. So I think if you're really, attention to detail based, buy the original example. In terms of the sound, I thought the Custom Shop sounded a lot fuller. It did sound kind of a bit crisper as well in its own sense. I felt that it sounded modern. The original example was a lot softer, a lot more worn in and rounded. I think it was a bit brighter in some senses, a bit more twangy, probably something that a lot of people will want from a Strat. And bearing in mind, in 1956, Fender were selling tweed amps which were a lot warmer sounding, so they would have voiced these pickups with the tweed amps in mind. In terms of price, if you're the sort of person that thinks spending £4,000 or £5,000 on a Custom Shop guitar is ludicrous, you really don't want to know the price of this one. I will tell you though, it's about 5 or 6 times more expensive. We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Vault. For the sound samples, I was using this brand new Blackstar St. James amp. It's a fantastic amp, and if you don't know about them, get down to the description below because we'll have the link to it there. We'll also have links in the description to some of the Custom Shop Fender guitars as well, so make sure you check those out as well. We really enjoyed making this video and we hope you enjoyed watching it. We'll be bringing out new videos every Friday at 4 PM, so make sure you hit the subscribe button now to stay up to date with our latest content. And don't forget, give us a thumbs up too.